I'm Miriam Raver.
Naughty Christensen.
They're visiting up the plant.
Oh, well, nice to meet you.
Hi, how are you?
Hello there, sir. Just fine. Thank you.
See you not church today.
Yeah, really.
Oh,
Hi. How are you?
this is, you know, you don't know, Miriam and Bill way back there.
Oh, you have to get back with your partner, sorry.
And Sarah. Sarah. This is, belongs with Timmy here. And they-
My heavens, it's all right. This is great, yeah. Oh, that's Dad's baby picture.
Yeah. I voted to have that one on the table.
Oh, what a stitch. Oh, look at these pictures.
Jim?
Oh, flowers.
Oh,
look at that.
Look at that.
How'd they do that?
Here, Dad, you want to put this on, Mom?
No, you put it
No,
on.
you better put it on. I don't trust Dad to put it on me.
Because I can't
Oh, I knew. Well, you've got it for you.
You look nice.
Have you been working real hard?
I've been watching
This gee, the house looks so lovely. Were you worried?
Was she
I've
worried?
been strictly following people.
You've been following people?
These guys,
Now you know what it's like.
they have everything under control, these girls.
Bye, Liv.
Did you guys have fun last night?
Yeah.
I kind of miss being here.
Well, I don't.
You get a lot of
You
sleep.
better do it.
Oh,
Chris.
there.
I don't wanna do the-
Let
You
Janet
remember
do it.
when I couldn't come in Skokie Valley and I said, well, I just feel like I'm missing some of the fun?
When
Now
you what?
know. Remember?
Oh,
when-
Yes, please do.
Did you tell Robin about that lady that she did you call him that lady?
I don't know where she is.
You know her? Okay, I would have found her. She's a pretty good,
He said the first. Colorado was at home. The other one was Oklahoma State.
There's 3 of them that they took turns driving and stuff. Yeah.
He's doing all right.
1 year and
I know. I know.
So there's a trick.
You know what? We were in the middle of
They were going like this, and I left home, and I was going.
the girlfriend of my wife and her sister, they went to school all together. We only see him once in a while on occasion. Him and I, he hugged each other. He was at my
Go ahead, that's fine.
I said, Wally, listen, make a deal. We are both on the side, we are separate.
There you go.
Okay, come on, let me see what happens. And now, on my way here, this is what I saw. First up, the city of Rich Williamson Motorcycle. First one I've seen. Well, I see he's gotten some big support from Mike Ditka.
Get a picture.
Metro with her legs.
That's right, it's a while.
On her legs or hips.
Every 5 minutes, it's worse and worse.
Loretta. Ladies, more.
Hi. And a happy next 25. Right.
And then they have to pay for their next party
They
on
have to
their
pay.
own.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to.
And there's a cake that's about to collapse. That's the Leaning Tower masterpiece.
June. Laurel's fine, but this one's
Spreading his wisdom. Eating as usual.
I said I'm having so much.
I want you to go away with that camera. I want to tell Karen something.
And this, I'd like to introduce my baby brother. This is my little brother, Chuck.
How's your head?
Which one? Well, since I don't have a girlfriend.
Saying to be on the same room, so I'll leave it alone. Clear on the way.
Especially if they've been on their own. Right.
Wait, you want to do it your way? Your new house and Cutter's around to my house.
I've been
Check your clock.
We're there quite a bit more just to see.
Where do you live?
She's been going out several weeks.
He's off too. He's outside the cool off.
Alright, we're gonna have, if I can have your attention for just a minute, we're gonna have a couple more people say a few things for Karen.
And I do remember that I was very relieved when Karen and Jim finally got together because I had been helping Karen look for Joan for many years. We had basically traveled around the country, Minnesota, Michigan, and then we took a trip out west. And we were all over out west and hit California very hard. And in San Francisco, I had to keep Karen from this one fellow, and she should thank me for that. And so when we came back here and she didn't find anyone out there and she was getting kind of discouraged, I said, Karen, you're only 19. Don't worry about it. Not okay. And then when I got engaged that Christmas before, she was getting real panicky, and I said, well, I am a little older than you. Just relax, you know, you're not 20 yet. Well, then she turned 20 in March, and she was really panicky. So what was I going to say? I just tried to be encouraging to her. And I'm trying to think exactly. I think it was around April 2nd. We'd gone down to Moody. We tried to hang around where there were a lot of spiritual people. We'd gone down to Moody Church for some kind of a sing or, one of those rallies. I'm not even sure how we got there with a group from Edgewater. We didn't drive, purposely didn't drive, because Karen, I have to say, Karen had spotted Jim. She was interested, but that's it. And so we were there without a car, and we needed a ride home. And all of a sudden,
couldn't drive. He wasn't old enough yet.
But I had mine. So we got in the car, and Jim was being real pleasant and everything. I had met him a couple times, but I didn't know him that well. And he said, well, who do I take home first?
Oh.
And now, I could have said, oh, you better take Karen home first because she's pretty young and everything, and I don't know you, and I know you're allowed. But, Karen was kicking me. And I said, oh, I'm right on the way. Why don't you take me home first? So they did. They took me home. It's okay. And we chatted a few minutes. And I said, no, that's my cousin. Take her right home. And he said, fine, fine. I said, she lives in Skokie. I explained exactly how to get there. And so the next day, Karen called me up and she said, well, I'm going to marry him. I said, we decided to get married. I said, Karen, the same person that drove you home, you decided to get married. Yes, Jim Queen. Yes. I said, okay, how did that go over with your folks? And she said, well, I think they're in a state of shock. And, when you think about it, imagine this. You have this 20-year-old daughter, just turned 20 in March. She goes out with a fellow she has never gone out with before. You know he's older than her. They didn't, 9, 10 years older. And she comes in and says, I'm going to get married to the guy who took me home tonight. Imagine how you'd feel, Poor Uncle Wally, poor Auntie Margie. But it worked out okay. It worked out great. And from then on, it was just one big happy relationship. And everything went smoothly. And we're very glad to be here tonight and celebrate your 25th. And we hope you have at least 25 more. And I may be too old to speak at that one, but, my memory might not be as good as it is now.
What?
Congratulations, Judy. And then we found out what he was. We're some adding head, too.
Good, because I was married almost 2 years before Karen, and so our lives had kind of taken a separate path. As she was dating around looking for a husband, and I was busy with my husband already. So we were kind of in a different phase of life just for that period of time. And I can remember when I first heard that she was getting married, I said, those words you say to your dearest, closest person that you grew up to, and she tells you she's getting married. I said, who are you marrying? She had been dating somebody else, and when she came home and announced that she was going to be marrying Jim, we were all like, we didn't know him that well, and it all happened so quick. So anyway, I often wondered at the time, because of things I had heard about Jim, I didn't know him very well. That Karen found about Jim that attracted her so strongly to him. And now that they've been married 25 years, I know what it is that they saw about each other. They both have a very strong rebellious streak. Now, Karen is much more underhanded about her rebellious streak. You have to know her for a while to see that there's a little bit of stiff-neckedness sometimes about Karen. But Jim was much more overt. We knew that right away when we met him. He was different, right? And that he turned out to be a minister and actually work through the church was like, God's greatest, I think, sense of humor in the situation. Because Jim was going to save all the kids in the street, but he was going to do it in spite of the church instead of through the church. And at 35, Jim goes off to seminary, and in a way, God had his last laugh over that. I remember when Karen wasn't married very long, I was over on Magnolia, and she said to me, I have figured out what it is that makes my husband happy. And that was pretty good, because they had only been married a couple years, I think, when they lived in Magnolia. And some people spend their whole life trying to figure out what it is that makes their husband happy. So I was anxious to hear what it was, and Karen told me, very frankly, it's that when he comes home from work, I have the sink cleaned. And she knew that it bugged him if he came home from wherever it was he worked, because he wasn't really working anymore.
Not a lot of happy times, huh, Jim?
He liked having the dishes and stuff tidy in the kitchen, and so she had learned that. But I think the thing that has kept their marriage as fresh and as fun and as good as it really is, and I know it really is two things, and I'm really serious about this when I say, Jim has always been the president next to me of Karen's fan club. And, we have a lot of friends who are married, but very few who have such a good friendship. And that's what makes their marriage very, very good. But Karen also is a lot of fun to come home to. And she has made being a pastor a very fun thing in Jim's life because she has seduced the pastor.
Go get the trench coat.
I was at a Bible study one time when Haddon Robinson was speaking, and he was speaking on one of my favorite subjects, which is sex, and I thought that was very interesting in a Bible study that they would be talking about that. And he was saying that it's difficult in churches, they put so much pressure on a pastor's wife, and they expect so much of her. When they really hire the pastor, they expect that they're getting a package deal. And he said, you know what the job of the pastor's wife is? It's to seduce the pastor. And I'd say Karen has done 25 years of very good
Picture's 60 years old.
Tell them to come over this way a little bit. Nick and Barb. Jim, we're gonna dance.
Yeah, this is all, this is it, this is it.
Yeah, with the big guy. Yeah, with the big guy. You get enough light
Ask and it will be given unto you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be
opposite. I decided against it.
Oh, that'd be great, that's where it should go.
No, I think it should go here.
Oh, no.
Sophie, give me a picture.
Chris, give us a...